Good afternoon, everyone. Midway Piper here. I hope all is going well. Apologies for the background again. You know what that means. It's raining again. So I'm up here on the patio. Housekeeping. It's Stanwell Saturday. This is the only Stanwell I have. It's a beauty, though. At the plateau. This is, I don't know, I can't read it. Stanwell Relief, number 63. And in it, I have from Ken Byron Ventures, Bee Frog's Mountains of Madness. I don't remember anything about the blend. I was just looking at my shelf today and I grabbed it. It was on the shelf with my Englishes. Tastes like an English. I think this one was heavier on the Latakia. I think that was its thing. Also, real quick, before we jump into the point of the video today, got a couple of comments about the hat. I just ordered it on Amazon. There isn't really a company, I don't think. But if you just Google search or Amazon search, brimless hats, you'll get it. This just says Denim Supplies. It's not a legit company. It's got a double adjustment on the back. Ta-da. Again, you just saw bald head, a lot of sun on it. Not a great thing. And I don't always like staring at the underside of a brim, so here we are. I like it. Does it look good? I don't know. Does it look like I care? No. So just Amazon brimless hat options will show up. I think there used to be a company that made these a while ago, and I don't know if they're still around or not, but this was just an Amazon find, so there you go. All right. Point of today's video. Had the overnight at work last night. That went till about 8:20 this morning. And then I had to rush home. I took my son to his gym class. And on the second Saturday of every month, the library that we pass by has a used book sale. So we stopped on the way home today. So I just want to show you what I found. I don't know. Nothing super exciting, I guess. But anyways, I'm not going to break any reading plans to read these, but they're things that piqued my interest. So, the first of them, you guys might be familiar with the writer and journalist Tom Wolfe. I have most of his novels. And one that I didn't have is actually one of his most famous ones. The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. Being a journalist in the 60s, LSD, tour bus, what more do you need to know? I actually have this on Audible. It was a free download at one point, and I downloaded it. I still have it, but I didn't have the physical book, so I hadn't read it yet, so listened to it yet. So now I have a physical copy of it with a pretty crazy cover. There you go. Next couple books, when we were at the library, when my son was in pre-K, he went to a Montessori school, and one of his best friends from that time, she goes to different schools now than he does, but we still see each other every once in a while, and library sales in this town is one of the places we tend to see each other. But the girl's mom is very into reading as well, and so we talk about books all the time. We see each other. And I saw them at the book sale, and she made a couple of book suggestions knowing some of the stuff that I like to read, so if she suggested it, I just grabbed it. So first one is Out Stealing Horses. And this is New York Times book review. I have several of those. Johnny Keene is always talking about those books, and so this fit 2 descriptions. So tells a story of Trond Sander, a 67-year-old man who has moved from the city to a remote riverside cabin, only to have all the turbulence, grief, and overwhelming beauty of his youth come back to him one night while he's out on a walk. From the moment Trond sees a strange figure coming out of the dark behind his home, the reader is immersed in a decades-deep story of searching and loss, and in the precise, irresistible prose of a newly crowned master of fiction. Out Stealing Horses. I don't really know, but there it is. Next up, I've heard this author referenced many times, never picked up any books by her. Tana French, The Secret Place. Back says, I know who killed him. The anonymous message is written on a photograph of Chris Harper, a boy found murdered a year ago on the grounds of an exclusive girls' boarding school. Detective Stephen Moran knows it could be his longed-for passport to the Dublin murder squad, and he leaps at the chance of joining Detective Antoinette Conway to visit the school and reopen the case. But in this claustrophobic, privileged world, every step they take leads back to a place more savage and mysterious than they imagined. To the ties bound a group of adolescent girls, to Chris Harper and to each other, to their friendships, their feuds, and their deepest, most dangerous secrets. I don't know. Again, it was suggested, so I picked it up. Each of these books is like, these paperbacks are like $1 a piece, so worst case scenario, it sucks. Okay. So, Secret Place, Tana French. Okay. Kind of cool. The barcode on the back. Barbed wire books. Colorado. And this ended up in a library used book sale in Connecticut. Fancy that. This other one, right when we walked in, she saw this title and honed in on and said, I've heard great things about that book. It's called The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. It's a big book. There's our author, Paul Murray. And I grabbed it, and I opened up the front. I started reading what it was about, and I realized I have picked this book up every time I've gone into the bookstore for the last 2 months. It came out in paperback recently, and I keep seeing it on the new release tables. And I've picked it up. I've thought about getting it several times, and I never did it. And now I got it in hardcover for $2. Take that. The Barnes family is in trouble. Dickie's once lucrative car business is going under, but Dickie is spending his days in the woods building an apocalypse-proof bunker with a renegade handyman. His wife, Imelda, is selling off her jewelry on eBay and half-heartedly dodging the attention of fast-talking cattle farmer Big Mike, while their teenage daughter, Cass, formerly top of her class, seems determined to binge drink her way through her final exams. As for 12-year-old PJ, he's on the brink of running away. If you wanted to change this story, how far back would you have to go? To the infamous bee that ruined Imelda's wedding day, to the car crash 1 year before Cass was born, all the way back to Dickie at 10 years old, standing in the summer garden with his father, learning how to be a real man. The Bee Sting, Paul Murray's exuberantly entertaining new novel, is a tour de force, a portrait of post-crash Ireland, a tragicomic family saga, and a dazzling story about the struggle to be good at the end of the world. Sounds like a pretty good book. And the price is right. And it's a nice, big, beautiful hardcover. So, win. All right. So 3 other books. That's it for fiction. The rest of them are business books. Now, I actually have a small collection of business books. 2 companies I really enjoy reading about are Apple and Amazon. So I read books about the companies, about the founders of the companies, things of that sort. So Apple and Amazon are the 2 big ones. And I have most of the books on both, I think. But I did find The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon. So it is about the starting of Amazon. And again, I have read all of it probably, but I just don't have this one in my collection, so will I get anything used out of it or useful out of it? I don't know. But yeah. The Everything Store. Second to last. Never even heard of this book, but it's called The Upstarts: How Uber, Airbnb, and the killer companies of New Silicon Valley are changing the world. '17. So if you're going to be investing in companies, it's good to know a little bit about them. and how they're reshaping things. What caught my attention on this one was Uber mostly. But interestingly enough, Uber and Airbnb and similar companies obviously are making a business of you not owning things. You will own nothing and be happy. You ever heard that? Now, I held stock in Uber for a while. And really, the only reason I sold it was because I've gotten a lot more heavily. When I first started investing, my intention was to get into dividend paying stocks. And I had done some of that. And what I ended up doing is I ended up chasing the next big stock for a while. Bought stuff, sold stuff. And I think the first stock that really hit for me that sort of got me going in that direction was Palantir. A friend of mine had hinted about getting into Palantir, and I'm up over 300% on the stock, which is, I wish I invested more into it back in the time. And that sort of got me going on a trend of chasing that next stock. And sort of lost my purpose for investing. I mean, I made some money in it, but recently, well, I'll show you the last book and then we'll end with the last thing. Last book I got was The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. I don't think I need to tell you what it's about. When did this come out? (2007). Doesn't look like it was touched. Probably wasn't. I've been watching a couple channels on YouTube lately about dividend investing. And I'll leave a link to the main one down below. Ryan Williams. And he sort of takes you along on his journey of dividend investing and picking stocks and looking at analytics of companies and things of that sort, to make sure that you're looking at intelligent investments. And his main thing is looking for companies that pay a dividend, but that there's also growth potential for. And he has some invested in dividend ETFs, but a lot of it, most of it, is in individual companies. So it's cool to watch his videos and see how his portfolio changes and evolves over time. It's introduced me to a lot of companies I'd never heard of. So, great channel. Go check it out if you're interested at all in that kind of thing. But the idea of getting invested into dividend-paying companies that'll pay you simply for holding stock in their company. Is amazing. Because the reality is, I don't expect much by way of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security when I'm old enough to retire. The fact of the matter is, I'm not expecting much from it, if it still exists at that point. So, at work, I have access to a 401k, but it's unmatched. I'm not going to blindly give money to some random 401k investor and pay him fees every year when I could do that myself. And it's more fun. So, I've been spending a lot of my free time watching dividend investing videos. Again, especially Ryan Williams. So I'll link him down below. Check it out. A lot of good stuff. He just posted a video in a sort of timely manner about getting out of Altria stock. If you're not familiar, Altria stock has been a big tobacco company, very long-term dividend, pretty well-paying dividend fund. And spoiler alert, he got out of it recently. I held some Altria for a little while, but mostly because of their dividend. But they jumped big into Juul, which some of you probably know crashed and burned pretty badly, lawsuits and all such. They're trying to get into the smokeless tobacco world, but I don't know. It's not. I don't see a lot of growth potential for them to warrant being involved. So he pretty much came to the same conclusion. I think I sold mine off like a year ago. But yeah, good stuff. So check out his channel. Yep, that's it for today. That's the books I picked up. Like I said, nothing super riveting. I'm sure I'll enjoy a couple of those. But this one I'll probably pick up and read a little bit every now and then. So selecting long-term winners, taxes or costs. Index trading, ETFs, bonds, all the kind of basics of investing. So I'll probably look through that every here and there and read a little chapter out of it. But yeah, that's it. Hope you all are enjoying. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.